In this video, I'm going to be going over pretty advanced CSS features, and if you already know a feature that I show you, make sure that you watch the next one so that you don't miss anything out. And before we get started, make sure to like this video, subscribe, comment down below if you have any questions or if you have anything else you'd like to say. But now, let's get started. Let's start this video with one of my favorite ones, and it's going to be custom properties or variables because that's what they are. So I'm just going to show you a pretty simple example. Let's say the body had a background color of something dark, so I'm just going to set it to this nice gray color. And then we had our H1 with a color of white. And then let's say this H1 also had another property. So I don't know, let's say it had a display of inline block or something like that we didn't want the paragraph to have, but we also wanted the paragraph to have a color of white. And so if I wanted to change the color of the H1 to be red, but I also wanted to change the color of the paragraph, I would have to copy this and then paste it in here. And hopefully you see where this is going. So what custom properties allow you to do is make variables. So in the body, use two hyphens and then name the variables. So I'm just gonna name it text color, and so this is gonna be white. Now what you can do is go to the color here, write var, which stands for variable, and then in here we're gonna use our text color. And now I'm gonna paste this in the paragraph also, and now we can see that our text color is gonna be white. And if I wanted to, I can change this now to red, and we can see that both of these elements have a color of red. And this can be used in multiple ways. So let's say for the background color, we can do the same thing. So background color, and then let's set that to the background color that we currently have. And then here we're gonna write var and then use the background color. Let's change the text now to white. And there it is. So you can make as many variables as you want. Let's say there was also content, background color, so background color. And then that color was a bit lighter or darker than the actual background color. So let's make this a bit lighter, somewhere around here. And now let's make a container, so container. And then we're gonna put all of our elements inside of the container. Let's select the container and then set the background color to be the content background color. So there it is. I'm going to add padding of 1 rem, and then let's also set the border radius to be 1 rem too, or let's do 0.4 rems, and there it is. So now if we had another container, let's paste it down, we can see that it's also going to have this nice background color. So let's just say this container had a different class of content. I'm going to also add a margin bottom of 1 rem, and then we had to select it differently because it had different styles. So content and then background color, we can set the variable to be content background color, and there it is. So we can see how useful this can be, but you can also use this to make your own dark theme. So in the body here, what you can do is add an attribute. So I'm just going to name it data theme or data theme, and currently it's going to be set to light. So all of these variables are going to be when the data theme is going to be dark. So in here, I'm going to do data theme and then dark. Let's fix that. So data theme equals to dark. And now we can see that everything is going to be back to white. And you would also have to make variables so for the light theme. So in here, let's change everything around. So change that to that. Background color is going to be white. The text color is going to be dark. So we're pretty much just going to flip all the variables. And then in here, I'm just going to set this to be a bit darker than the actual background color. So somewhere around here. And then change this to light. So there it is. I'm going to make this a bit lighter. There it is. So now what you can do is have a button that will change this attribute from light to dark. And we can see how nice this can work. Now moving to the next one, this one is going to be called color scheme, and it's going to allow us to change from light to dark theme a lot faster and simpler, but it's going to be a bit different. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to have to select everything and then write color scheme. Currently it's going to be on normal, but if we set that to light, nothing's going to change. So we can set that to dark, and we can see everything go to dark theme. Everything is going to pretty much just flip colors, and there's a few properties. So there's dark, light, normal, and then there's only dark, only light. So if I set this to only dark, we're only going to be able to have dark theme on whatever we're selecting, and currently it's going to be pretty much all the elements. But if we had, let's say, headers, so a header, a main, and then also a footer, we could do something like on the main we only want it to be dark theme, but then on the header we only want it to be light theme. So it would be only light. So you can do something like this. And if I open this page over here, we can see normal, light, dark, and only. So you can read that if you want. But if we go even lower to styling based on color schemes, this is also going to be a really useful thing to know. So I'm going to copy all of this and paste it in here. So what this does is, I'm going to actually just reload to show you what this does. So currently we're going to be on dark theme, but in color scheme here we have light or dark, or you can say and. But what this does is it checks what the user's default theme is, and if it's light then you're going to set everything to be light, but then if it's dark then it's going to be dark. I'm going to have to change this to body, and then also this. Now we can see that our colors changed because this is going to be colors of the variable. So I'm going to set this to this nice gray color, and then the text we can keep it at white, so right here. But if we go to inspect, I can show you how this works. So in rendering, we have to scroll down to emulate CSS media feature prefers color scheme. We can see that this is going to be the one. If we change this to light, we can see that the theme changes to light, but then if we change this to dark, we can see that it's going to go back to dark. And you can use the properties that we used from the other one. And so here's where we can use the properties. So if we go to the body here, and write background color, and then set that to black or whatever you want. So actually in this case it's just going to be white. Same thing for text color. This is going to be dark, so 000. Now we can copy this, paste it in the body here, change this, so background color is going to be dark, this is going to be light, and then we can move all of this. And now in the body here we can set the background color to be variable, and then background color, and then also color. So color, that's going to be the variable text color. So we can see that it's going to work the exact same way, but now we have our own custom style. So let's scroll back down to emulate. Let's change this to light. We can see that all of this works. So now if we change this to red, background changes to red, and then that goes to white, we can see that everything is going to work. So you can combine the custom properties and color schemes together to make the ultimate dark theme, or pretty much any theme changer. Let's move on to the next one, and this one is going to be very interesting, and I bet you haven't seen this before, so make sure you watch all of it. So all I have in here is a paragraph and a button, and what this property is going to allow us to do, or more like value, but it's going to allow us to actually get an attribute. In this case, we're going to be getting the attribute count from our paragraph, and then setting the content of the paragraph to be equal to that. So currently it's going to be 0, but I haven't used that value yet, so it's not going to work. But every time I press the button here, we can see that count goes up by 1, not the actual text, but the count attribute, and you can see all the code in the script.js over here. Now, if you go to styles.css, the way that it's going to work is we're going to be selecting the after and then setting the content to be equal to that count. So if I write 1, we can see that the text is going to be 1. And then same goes for normal text, so hello world. We can see that now it's going to be hello world. And so to actually make this work now, we're going to write attribute or attr, and then the name is going to be count. So if I write count now, we can see that it's going to be equal to 5. And then every time I press on the add button, we can see that our number is going to go up. This honestly kind of reminds me of React. There's a lot of different ways in which you can use this, and this is obviously going to be a very simple example, but it's a pretty nice feature to know. Now moving on to the next one, this one's going to be also pretty interesting because you've probably not seen this before, but you can customize your own counters. And to do that, let's first select the ordered list. We're going to set the list style type to be none. Now we're going to set the counter reset to be equal to section. So section, select the list items before, and here if we write content, set that to whatever we want to. So let's say 1 dot. We can see that all of them are going to have a 1, which is not really true, so we need to get the counter somehow. So to do that, we're going to write counter increment, that's going to be section, and now we can use this thing called counter and write section in here, and now we can see that we're going to have 1 2 3 4 5, but we have to add some spacing, so let's go ahead and do that. But now you can pretty much customize however you want to, and this is going to be the default one. What you can do is also add text before, so let's say you can write section and then counter, and then here we can write this, so we're going to have section 1 something, section 2, and so on. But you can pretty much just do whatever you want with this and customize this to your liking, and honestly just play around and see what you end up with. And so this is going to be for this video, so I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe so don't miss upcoming videos, comment down below if you have any questions or if you have anything that you would like to say, and hopefully see you in the next video.